All right. Hey, everybody. It's Jason Blaha here, just sitting here drinking my morning coffee, looking sexy as hell as usual. I should have trimmed my beard first. Well, I'll get it after the stream. Try to get a quick run in some GPP. I think I need to go really light on the weighted carries or skip them today. I'm realizing why my low back keeps bothering me on squats. I'm like, man, I think it's the weighted carries. That's the only thing I've done different. I need to push the reverse hypers a lot harder, chill with the weighted carries for a moment, see what happens. I think there's my solution. Funny deadlifts don't bother it at all. I did rep work with 5.5 plates yesterday. No pain there. I mean, just the same discomfort from the squats, but less intense. So it's interesting. Yeah, I think it's the weighted carries. I was thinking about it when I woke up. Only thing that makes sense. So need to be a little more chill with those. Do more ab work, do the weighted carries. Well, I gotta do some hanging leg raises. I think that would be wise. Then I'll get the grip training. So, how about all of you people? How's everyone doing this morning? We'll get this. How you doing, a doula? We're already getting people in here. It's the first minute or so. Getting comments, get people. That's a good sign. That means it may start going into people's feeds. That's always a good thing. Need to let people know we're doing a coffee chat. Funny enough, when I put photo shoot pictures up like that, it tends to sometimes get people in more. It's kind of funny. I'm an intermediate lifter. Before recommended workout plans, I want to gain more size. Um, I don't have a specific workout plan to recommend for you as an intermediate. I have coaching slots available. I have consultations available. I can help you map out a slot in a video call, like one-on-one stuff. I charge $100 for those. I do quite a few of those for non-clients, unless you want full coaching. Coaching is $250 a month, Abdullah, and consultations are $100 for an hour. So I'd be happy to write out a program. Otherwise, I don't have any specific templates or anything that I would recommend to you. I don't write a lot of free intermediate stuff. I have free knowledge programs. But, I would say anything that's upper, lower, or full body with double progression will probably be fine for your goals, just to gain size as an intermediate lifter. I think that will get it done, man. All right. All right. So that would be my advice. Hold on, making a few posts. One of the reasons I run these coffee chats long is so I can do other posts in the morning while I do these and answer clients. All right. Got to do all that stuff. Hold on, put up my Halloween pictures. Yep. Oh, this is a little slow so far. We give it time. Usually we get 10, 15 minutes in, though, then people realize we're doing the coffee chat. All the regulars roll in and we're in a good spot. I wish I would have tidied up my beard first. Oh, well. It happens, guys. I might go do it anyways. I might go do it in the middle of the stream. right, since this is slow, and people who see it will come in and stay who are regulars. All right. And we're back. That's right. Coach went to fix his beard. Going on, see, we came back to likes and views. And that looks so much better. You just had to tidy it up. I just ran the half clipper over the whole thing. I'll shave this up later. Gotta clean the neck up later too. Gotta do that with a safety razor though. All right, so how you doing, Peppermint? Yes, we're live, man. Waking up. I was saying at the start, I think I know why my low back on the left side keeps hurting on squats. It's my weighted carries. I'm gonna chill with those for just a moment and add them back in light. See if my back feels better, because I can't afford to be losing squatting chasing the GBP exercise. And it's doesn't get aggravated on deadlifts. It starts hurting as soon as I squat. I'm good, coach. We bit of dimes from barbells. Interesting. Giving you dimes. What's up, EJ? Try doing them your way. Yeah. Where does it hurt? Where you row them to the chest? To me, that's always so fascinating, how dudes can't feel the difference. And they'll argue. They'll argue with you about it. Yes, slightly sore. I feel like throwing some dumbbell rows back in just so that I can get some viral shorts when I do them. one of my dumbbell row videos got like 100,000 views, and it was nothing but criticism. People telling me I don't know how to dumbbell row. All the way up to one guy, just a dude who is smaller than me and short and slightly tubby, got up and made a video response to me and sent it to me in a DM going, "That's how you dumbbell row." And it's like he did a little hip swing with like a 10-kilo dumbbell. And I'm just like, dude, your back is half the size of mine. Just stop. Stop yelling. And that's the thing, I just don't get it. I just simply do not get it. Like, morning coach, morning team, what's up, Dad? Man, I had to get rid of Lux yesterday. He showed his true colors. That kind of sucked because he was dropping a lot of supers. Like, he was dropping them in every stream. He was getting dropping them all day. I bet you he dropped $40. He probably dropped $40 in supers plus that membership in just like 2 days, 3 days time. But he crossed the line, which means he'll be back. Like, I shouldn't even worry about banning that guy. You know why? He's just gonna make new accounts and come back. But apparently, I upset whoever trolls or him or someone yesterday because I lost 40 subscribers in one day, but I'm still above the 115,000. But when you lose them all in 20 minutes, it's the same person, same little group. Like, let's do a mash on sub. We'll see if we can get him back down under 115, right? So it's a shame because they're like, oh no, he's at that 115,000. Let's see if we can get him below. But they don't realize it's actually organic. So their 50 or whatever that they removed doesn't matter. That's a shame. Well, I mean, he's obviously a stalker. Look at the topics that he brought up. He's clearly like one of them. What do you do? Now they don't show respect. It's again, they're malicious trolls or part of the cyber stalking stuff. They're not playful troll. Like, dude, I'm fine with trolling, man. I think people forget that. Yeah, Benjamin, I don't want to talk about it. And the reason is, do you realize these coffee chats are only 2 hours long? Do you really think I could fit all of it into 2 hours? See the problem, Benjamin? You're aware this would be like a 4-hour long conversation. Like, if I were to sit down and to break all of it down for you, 4 to 8 hours of you and I just sitting here talking one-on-one is what it would take. That's how long the history is and how much is involved at this point. Make sense? Do you know this is like a full-time thing for these people for a decade? Yeah. Like, I don't think people understand how involved it is at this point. Even the people who catch the little fringes on the periphery, even people who are new to it from the inside, don't realize how extensive it is. I'm going to tell you the same thing I told a police officer, I told an HPD guy when he was asking about some of them. They were doing an interview thing. He's like, what's the motive for this? He's like, I don't understand. And I told him, if I could answer that question, then you should probably take me in. Like, you should probably take me in to see a psychiatrist, arrest me, put me in custody, and take me down there to have them evaluate me for my own safety. And I'm like, so that's like asking, the guy who took bath salts and ate his mom and dad's face. That was in Florida. Like, what was his motive? Yeah. So, what do you do? Hello, targeted. No, you're saying suffered. It's not suffered. It's an annoyance. Like, Those people are clearly something wrong with them suffering. It's not, I haven't suffered. Like, I'm not going to even say what parts of it actually, I never actually say what parts of it bother me. I keep that completely private. So they don't actually know. Most of it doesn't bother me at all. It's just an annoyance. It's just like, this needs to go away. Just silly. CJ, remember the deadlift dad said the same thing. He's like, he straight up said, and I took that as a compliment. He's like, your level of resilience in dealing with this, he goes, is ridiculous. He's like, you're resilient as hell. What are your thoughts on doing sissy squats? They're okay. They can be a useful exercise. My only issue is if you're trying to treat them as a primary. Like, here's my issue. So here's my thoughts. There's my thoughts. There we go. While I'm waking up. I think sissy squats can be a great supplemental exercise for your quads. And if you were doing them as a supplemental exercise, I think they're a very good exercise. If you're doing them as a replacement for squats, I'm not on board. Makes sense? What do you think of Trump trying to run for a third term? He can't technically run for a third term at this point. So, although someone actually told you, they're all keyboard warriors, Jacob. The only time there's been any confrontations was them not letting me know who they were. So let's not even go into that. One of them showed up pretending to be a salesman and did not admit who he was until I had to find out later. His full name. I didn't know he worked for one of the guys. So he lied about who he was when he knocked at my door. Because he knows I would have smoked. I would have legally smoked him at that point. He had on a mask. So that aside, no, they would never do that. Yeah, he pretended to be a solar panel salesman. And I had to make him leave at gunpoint. So as far as Trump trying to do the third term, like if he repeals this, like, okay, I'll be straight up. I said this to someone too. Why are we calling that a troll? That's called a stalker. Like, let's not use these terms interchangeably. Right? I don't think people grasp there's a difference between the two. Yeah. But yeah, Benjamin, let's move on from that. So let's get over to, I'm probably going to just start banning if we can't change from these topics. All right. So I'm going to stick to your current events that you asked me music. So Trump with a third term. I brought this up to someone and I said, if Trump did one of the two things that he talked about doing, I would support it. Because here's the thing, no one's getting a third term under the current laws without force. Like, we're talking revolution level force. And I am not a major Trump supporter, so people need to grasp that. For some reason, I actually have a lot of criticisms of the man. Okay. I didn't think I was going to vote for him again, but I did. Right, in this election. Like, I was not planning on it, but then I saw what we had. Had he said he was going to run again later. But compared to what we had, this was a no-brainer. Yeah, I feel like Benjamin's doing it on purpose at that point. So, if he did one of the two things that he said he might do, just get rid of the IRS and go to straight tariffs and corporate tax, which would be good for the American people. Or if he said what he might do, he ran out the idea back in January of removing all income tax for anyone making less than $150,000. So making the $150,000 bracket, which that's your net, or that would be your gross income, right? And with all your deductions. And if you're married, that would go to $300,000 for you and your spouse, having a zero tax bracket. Yeah, I'm going to cover Ian this afternoon, EJ. Which is pretty sad. I would be the first one in line right there to directly support through force, like him getting another term at that point. It would be repealing the 22nd Amendment. Now, as it stands, hey, Dad, I'll cover it in a life. Ian got arrested twice, 2 different booking charges. He got out and got rearrested. He's been arrested twice in like the last 2 months for felony charges, unfortunately. Which is very sad. I had to block him a while back. Keep in mind, Ian and I have history. We've done video calls over the years. I've actually talked over, video with Ian. He went off the rails. I had to block him for going off the rails. I don't know if he is coming back, dude. Felonies. He may go to prison. So, yeah, anyway, well, it was addiction. It was a problem. His alcoholism and stuff got out of control. Like Ian is an alcoholic, if you're not aware. Like he's an active alcoholic. Which again, I can have sympathy for, but it's a catalyst for his own self-destruction. Now, back over to the Trump thing, though. As it stands, you can't run more than twice. You can't run for election. Right. Well, he has all those stimulant issues and other stuff, too, at this point, also. However, as the current law stands for Trump to be president again, he would need to come in as vice president and either the president step down or be unable to or die or whatever. So if I would predict the next election is going to be Vance Trump. He could come in as vice president, and if anything happened where Vance stepped down, Trump would be president. That would actually be legal, 100% legal. And the courts have upheld that. So he needs a 2/3 majority to get the amendment repealed. So there was no term limits originally. Like George Washington pretty much stepped down. They wanted George Washington to stay forever. George Washington did not want to be president. For those who are unaware, George Washington did not want to be the president. He was extremely reluctant. Yeah, the term limits came in the 40s, so after FDR. So that was the thing. Like George Washington, they wanted to appoint him king. At one point, some people, and he's like, no, we're not doing this. And everyone's like, no. There were people who wanted it. So then he won a unanimous vote. Like he took everything. So when he is president, George Washington was pretty much the uncontested president. Like it was all the representatives and everything. It was a unanimous decision. And he pretty much stepped down eventually. So there were no term limits. Like George Washington didn't want the job. First he refused. Then they kind of told him it was his duty. He wanted to just retire from all of it after pretty much winning the war. As the main general, he's like, I'm done. I'm out. I'm done leading. But they kind of roped him into it. And then he finally stepped down. He's like, I'm done. I'm not doing this anymore. But yeah, had given a choice, all the people would have kept George Washington as president until he died. But yeah, it wasn't until the last decade or the last century. I believe it was in the 1940s when we set term limits. But you can only be elected twice to the job. You can fall back into it though through the chain of command. You know, because that's all mapped out in the law too. Like there's literally a list like 100 people long of who is next president. So if there's a massive war and something that destroyed half of DC, there's a list of who's number 57 down the line to become president if they all died, you know. Well, Bernie's not going to run. He's too old. His own party would never elect Bernie. All right. Someone says cut ties. Where did someone say cut ties at? Aren't all the AJ? That's what? What are you on about, man? AJ, you read some weird stuff, man. What annex meant? Yeah, annex means they take over. So when you legally make another country or something, or a town or a city part of yours, that's called annexing. Yeah, you said you wanted Trump to annex the UK. It's too far away. How ironic would that be, though, that if the U.S. ever annexed the United Kingdom, given the history, that would be comical. But I don't see the need or a desire to. Boy, that would be a change for the British people. That would be some culture shock. Imagine if the UK had to live under U.S. federal law like a state. All right. Sure, that couldn't happen. No, UK. What do you mean you get power? Well, I mean, generally the people are going to go along with it. Usually in an annex, you're not talking about a war situation. Usually an annex type situation, it's a popular vote. Are we really going to compare the UK to the US in terms of might, though? I mean, it's the point. Like, it's just not comparable. So there's probably only one country in the entire world the US couldn't just take down if it wanted it and overtake it and hold it. And that would probably be China. Russia would be pretty hard, though. Maybe India, Russia would be difficult. China would be impossible. I mean, I've been to the UK. I understand. I get it. But man, the Brits wouldn't know what to do. Like if you had our tax laws, I think the only thing is Brits are so adamant on their NHS being amazing. They don't realize how bad it actually is. You know. And I think that's the difference. That was something someone said that they noted, like talking about why I saw a thing a while back, some Brits talking about it. They're like, yeah, that's what's strange with America. No one could take America because the U.S. citizens are so armed and we would actually fight for our country. How much protein do I get? Alex, I'm trying to keep it relatively low so I can focus more on carbs, but I probably get 200 plus grams without trying. I really can't go under 200 grams without feeling like a vegan. So without counting, if I never count my protein, I'm pretty much going to get 200 grams no matter what. If I want a protein overfeed, I'll do like 350, 400. But I find it really hard with just because I eat protein foods also. I find it difficult to do less than 200 grams. It's just going to happen. Like you throw a little chicken on all your rice, you eat a couple eggs, before long, you're like at 200 grams. Yeah. All right. Good night, Dad. But I think immigration is an issue there too, from what I've heard. No, the UK doesn't have the immigration problems we have. All right. So I read somewhere the UK has less than 1 million undocumented immigrants. Like that's wow. All right. Joe, I definitely need to skip the weighted carries. I feel like that's what's messing up my lumbar on my left, my erectors on my left side. I've started thinking about it. I realize that's what my problem is. Well, you guys are on an island. They literally have to get on boats to get there, or planes. So here's a context. So do you want to know how many illegal immigrants we have in the U.S. for the Brits to understand why we have a problem? The entire population of London, right? So the entire population of London, that's approximately how many undocumented immigrants we have inside the United States. Estimate. We don't have a number because they're undocumented. There's your context. The population of London is approximately our undocumented immigrants inside the United States. That's not our legal ones who are here on passports and visas. That's tens of millions. I don't track my exact food, Alex. Ballpark on carbs. I don't know. I don't track macros, by the way. Maybe 700 grams, maybe 800. I don't know. 700 grams. Let's call it 700. And I eat very little fat right now. I don't know how much fat's in 2 omega-3 eggs and a chicken breast. That's my fat. How much rice? How much is in brown rice and sweet potatoes? You know, my diet's mostly carbs right now. Hey, music. I'm not answering that. Carbs are the most anabolic. They're the least fat family because protein at a certain point just turns into carbohydrate and thermic effect. Because I eat more than enough protein to maximize 100% of possible muscle growth. Because I'm recomping right now, I care about just carb loading. Humans don't store carbohydrates subcutaneously as fat. I am holding water from all the brown rice, though. Like my GI tract is definitely never empty. I know as soon as I have the first sip of coffee, I go take, and then after these calls, man, I don't drink juice. No, I drink water and black coffee. I don't drink liquid calories. No, I eat whole food carbohydrates. So let's be clear. Like I eat over 2,000 calories of brown rice every single day. So there's part of your context. So brown rice, sweet potatoes, fruit, those are my carbohydrates. Hey, music. I lost all of my guns at a boating accident at the bottom of Lake Somerville. Agent Light. You just got a very culturally appropriate answer. Do you just ask an American firearm enthusiast how many guns they own? That is Such a cultural taboo. I'm going to give you the most Texas response. Are you with the government? That would be the average Texan. You with the government? They might draw down on you. You gun grabber. You know a guy that has 30, okay? Yeah. Most people are going to need to do a 9 to 5. Alex, I've obviously worked a corporate 9 to 5 before. When I worked though, normal corporate, I didn't work that few hours. But yeah, dude, you don't come in places, certain places in the U.S. Like we're very secretive. It's nobody's business, including the government, how many guns we have. Like go to gun forums and you'll see the jokes and gun groups. You'll be like, oh, dude, they're serious about that. How do you know he had 30? How do you know he didn't lie? So if he told you he had 30, he has at least 50. You know a guy. See, to me, that's cute. He knows one guy who has 30. Benjamin, I can't tell you that. That's going to depend on the person. Business ownership is not for everyone. All right? Business ownership is not for everyone. 30. Dude. That's funny. Hey, EJ, I literally have a written will with more than 30 guns in my name coming like in a will right now. It'll be He's 30. That's why I'm laughing. He's like, I know a guy with 30. I'm like, oh, that's cute. Is it your grandma? Okay. Whew, we're having a minor cultural breach here. You guys don't know people who have more than 100. And I'm asking that as serious. Like, this is fascinating to me. So, me as an original native Texan, of course, I've lived in other places, that none of you guys know anybody with more than 100. Because they collect them. So, EJ, 30 is considered a moderate size collection. I have walked into multiple rooms in my life with more than 100 owned by one person. Right. Why? What's wrong with ARs? Nothing cool like an M1. So EJ, I could tell you one answer that some people give. I can give you a couple answers. I've heard people say, well, just because. But I've also, here's an answer I've heard someone give. If there's a revolution or an invasion, I can arm the entire resistance. I've heard that said by people with massive collections. I can arm everybody who I want to arm without batting an eyelid. This is why I say stuff like people do not want to push a conflict with the right wing and gun people. Like, this is not going to go well. Do you know how many people out there have that mindset and attitude with collections at large? Like, I'll just arm the entire resistance. Because people who have that many, how much ammo do you think they have to? silver. Yeah, I can't help you, Benjamin. You're going to have to be very specific. You can't name something very specific, and it's also none of your business. I mean, here's the running joke. So, Benjamin, hey, cutie pie, how you doing? Magnum. Do you not know what the term magnum means? Oh, man. I weep for the culture. Why would you necessarily want an M1? What's wrong with a massive I think a massive collection of ARs with compatible parts and magazines, I think is awesome. Okay. It's not boring at all. See, music, yeah, you're boring. Your mom is boring. I'm going to BB gun, but no, there's in time. So, a Magnum. I get it though, Scott. I saw a British thing one time to where they said that, oh, we got grandma down with a Magnum. Okay. Alan, 100%. Yes, civilians could. It's been done numerous times in the past. No, we're going to address that in the afternoon. It's like 30. No, it's not. What if you have different? They're not the same though. Like, so music, your ignorance is profound. That you don't understand with the AR thing. It's a modular system. They're different. They all serve. He probably has 20 different bills with different purposes. No, I don't own a Desert Eagle. And there is no Desert Eagle 2.0. So classic reference, and you got it wrong. The classic reference is from Snatch. On the side of my gun, it says Desert Eagle, 5.0 or 0.50, right? What he had was specifically a Desert Eagle, which is an Israeli-made heavy handgun, and it was chambered in 50 Action Express. So it's technically, this is what it would say on the side. Scott. Let me get the spelling right. That would be what would be stamped on the side. That stands for 50 caliber Action Express, would be the cartridge. Desert Eagle comes in like 8 different calibers. So everything from 357 Magnum, 44 Magnum, 50 AE, so on. I'm not a big fan. Do you own any non-lethal? No. Why would anybody bother? I think the idea of non-lethal self-defense is silly. Just carry a gun and a backup knife. I can't get behind this. No. If they're not a threat to you if you're not ready to go to deadly force. And this is a good way to get really, 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 really hurt. Hey, music, I think tanks should be legal. Rocky versus Rambo. Man, that's a tough one. I think Rambo would take down Rocky. Before I get my next coffee, Scott, a Magnum. You said the word Magnum. I've noticed Brits. No, grenades are not legal in Texas. Trying to put it in practical terms what Magnum means, because I grew up with this stuff. When you have a given standardized cartridge, a Magnum variation of it is one with a longer cartridge that holds more gunpowder. Okay, so example, 38 Special, when it was made into a Magnum, it was called the 357 Magnum, right? So it's the 38 Special, slightly longer, right? Slightly longer with more powder. Now, in a lot of handguns, not rifles, but in a lot of handguns, the Magnum is interchangeable, meaning you can load 38 Special in a 357 and it will shoot it just fine, but not vice versa. Makes sense? So the 300 Winchester Magnum is pretty much a 30-06 Magnum. So it's a different cartridge. The cartridge has taken the same cartridge, same projectiles, and usually lengthened and or thickened the cartridge to hold more gunpowder. So it's a whole new cartridge. All right. I have no idea, Cutie. Damn, Coach, your knowledge of weaponry is almost as encyclopedic as your knowledge. It is. It actually literally is. Random question, you think euthanasia should be legal? I mean, what's your problem with the euthanasia, Benjamin? Like, what did they do to you? Like, why do you want to outlaw the young people from Asia? What's wrong with the euthanasia? You know about the AR made by the Mexican government? No. Hey, EJ, I don't understand the stupid question. Do people know scope of their range? You know I don't play video games like that, right? You know I don't actually play Call of Duty or any of that. So, all right, guys, I need more coffee. All right. Coach, love your classic videos about having an air and spare. Is the AK-47? No, the AK-47 or the civilian legal version called the AKM it shoots an intermediate cartridge. It's generally chambered. Well, it's always chambered because it's a different rifle. Otherwise, it's chambered in 7.62 by 39 Russian. So that you don't understand. Right. The FX05, I'll investigate. So what's special about the platform versus a standard platform? Is there anything special? FX. That sounds like that's not an AR. Like, why did you lie to me? You lied to me. That is not an AR pattern. So music, you told a lie in my stream. Why did you do that? Yeah. The AR platform is a very specific platform. This is not even remotely similar in any capacity at all. Yeah. No, it's not an AR at all. It's just a rifle. It's an auto-loading rifle. Yeah, I would explain. It's an IWI, so it says Rayleigh clone. Yeah, I can see that. IWI would be Israeli Weapons Industries. I think the Tavors are decent. The Israelis got a cute little design, and they take AR mags. So if you're wanting a bullpup, not a bad route. Mm. Cutie pie. I don't know what an akimbo actually is. I have no idea. Do you hunt squirrels? I don't like you. I hunted squirrels as a kid. I haven't shot a squirrel since I was like 7 years old. Is it true that war is profitable? Wars can be sometimes. I mean, certain industries, yeah. Not always, not necessarily. But I mean, government contracts, yeah, they can employ a lot of people for stuff for it. But we don't have to have that. Like we have such a massive defense industry in the US that not really going to war doesn't make us any money, is it? Squirrels, yeah. I mean, when I was a little kid, I used to hunt squirrels. G and H tried to sue. G and H. Who's G and H? Dual pistol or some kind. Yeah, sorry, cutie pie. I don't know what you're talking about. No idea. I have no idea what you're even saying. Um, yeah, if you have a rail for it. The maker of G36. That's H and K. That's Heckler and Koch, and I've owned one of their handguns before. Yeah, it's Heckler and Koch, not G and H. His coach is right. It's not a thing. Yeah, if I don't know what it is you're probably not good. Heckler and Koch are a major player, and they're Germany. It's a German-based company. They're an enormous international military contractor. I don't know what Commando Pro is either. So sorry. I don't know, man. I'm not a big fan of those sheet metal shovels, you know. Although it doesn't really look. Never mind. It's got a milled receiver. I mean, it looks okay. I mean, I can't give you thoughts on this specific thing because one, it's a purely a military weapon that's only from one country. They've done for themselves. It does, like you said, it could be an Israeli clone. I don't have an opinion because I haven't seen the internals. I don't know anything about the engineering or the quality controls. All right. A pistol in each hand. Yeah, that's stupid. Absolutely moronic. That's a movie thing. It's not been a thing in any sort of handgun fighting since speed loaders or magazine fed handguns came out. No music. I really, because I'm not going to know, it's not practical because it's a single country specific military only weapon. I'm literally not wasting my time looking up the engineering. Remember Justin Vicky. I know guys died squatting. I don't remember Justin Vicky specifically. So music, it sounds purely like a case of Mexico not wanting to outsource contracting, so they did their own design. Yellow Winchesters. No, I don't think I've used any lever guns other than Marlin. Yeah. Hold on, let me look up the Justin Vicky situation. See if I remember. Oh yeah, that was the guy with. Again, this is why you use safety arms. I covered that guy. Yeah, it's who I thought it was. With the bar rolled up over his head. Squatting in knee wraps. All right. Do you feel sorry for people? No, I don't, Cutie, because they could overthrow their governments and have it. They've chosen that life. I would support a revolution in their countries though for that purpose. Like that's to me that's tyranny. You're essentially a slave. No, I'm not into military aviation. I know very, very little about planes. Yeah, my viewpoint is generally anyone who's in a country to where they're disarmed by their government, they're not a free citizen. They're a slave or a peasant. They're definitely not free men. You can agree to disagree. You're not going to change my mind on that one. Hold on, got to make some posts. Lawyers won't like that, and they shouldn't have to. They don't have to like it or agree. Our Bill of Rights says that we are allowed to bear arms, right? But see, that's the beauty of things. When we're talking politics and philosophy, I'm allowed to hold my viewpoint, and you don't have to agree. You don't have to like it. It's like I don't have to like yours. It's kind of how it works. For starting a home gym with only dumbbells, can one temporarily use an easy curl bar to floor press row if they don't have? I don't see how, man. You're not going to be able to put any weight on it. It's going to have weight limits. Can the U.S. government technically? No. Not under the Constitution. And a lot of gun laws are being overturned more and more by the courts. Don't even get me started on the Glock situation from a week ago. I guess I won't be doing more Glocks in the future. Like Glock literally just woke themselves, being an Australian-based company. Music, you can go look up. Why are you asking Chris crazy stuff? I feel like you're trolling me at this point. Right? I feel like you're trolling me with that one. Man, does creatine cause any bloating? I mean, only if you take too much, it could cause GI tract distress. Some of these loading phases are when people talk about taking large amounts. It could cause some GI tract distress in theory. But outside of that, no, it shouldn't. It shouldn't cause any. Oh. Just fix another ice cream machine on his way to a restaurant. And those McDonald's ice cream machines. The source of many a meme for over a decade. Shocks me with all that because I grew up doing so much fast food and I was younger and fat and everything. Like we lived on fast food. And even though I loved to cook, I eat tons of it. And now I just haven't had any. Do you any open? Hey, music, that's not a cohesive question. I mean, I don't eat junk food at all, cutie pie. So like if you take care of its health. Mm. Do you see? Well, you realize I don't live in Houston currently. I live north of Houston in a smaller city. But obviously, yes, I've seen open carry in the grocery store and so on. Very, very few people do it. We can legally do it. I can legally open carry. Not a problem. You don't see it that much. Not necessarily. Not seen as unusual. Um, you definitely know they're a firearm rights advocate or they're a police officer. It's just an assumption. A lot of police officers choose to do their open carry. They just have their badge next to it. They've done that even when the law was different. Um, I mean, you see it occasionally. Not really a big deal, but you do see it. 99% choose concealed. All right. UK people open carrying their beer cans and vodka bottles. That's illegal here. So that is a jailable offense where I live. Walking down the street with an open container of alcohol. In public, you can be in your front yard. You can't walk on the sidewalk or the street. That's illegal. Bars have to close at 2 a.m. or they'll be fined and lose their license. So open container or being intoxicated in public is both illegal where I live. No, only dry counties on Sunday. All right. There are dry counties, though, that don't sell alcohol on Sundays. Yeah. That's what's referred to as a dry county. They're local laws. Yeah, you'll be arrested for being intoxicated in public here. Yeah. Well, I saw a lot of public intoxication. They walk down the street singing at 3 a.m, drunk dudes in groups. In good old England. Merry old England. Mary Poppins. Right. Texans, as a general rule, have this very different view of the Brits. So this is the difference. So think of stereotypes of how people would view Texans as all with the hat and the horse and everything. To the average Texan who's never been to the UK, think Mary Poppins and the Queen. This is what Texans perceive the UK as. They think that everyone speaks very posh. So what you guys call speaking very posh or very proper, that is all of England. As far as Texans know, that's the entire country. The Brits are very proper and they're all gentlemen and ladies, and they're very sophisticated and cultured. Now, all the Brits are probably crying, laughing at this point. But I'm serious. Keep in mind, I've been married to a Brit, so when she came over, she would cry laughing. They're like, oh, she's a proper British lady, you know? And it's like, is she just like losing it? You know? So you get over here, and then she's talking to the Texas girls and stuff. They've never met a chaff. Yeah, they have no clue. Like they're all asking about queens and princesses and gowns and ball. Like this is really how the Texas girls, they were trying to talk to her and think, like, have you ever been to any big like royal balls and have you met the queen and right? Yeah, I was in Cheltenham, Callum. So they're completely clueless. And I try to explain this, and it's like I explained to them that actually the Brits have what they would call potty mouths, like the amount of profanity, and they're like, are you really? Yeah. Like one of my bros still to this day, I'm like, dude, you lived abroad where you got to stop this. He's like, he tries to imitate a Brit, and he's like, he thinks that Brits are all really proper, and it's hilarious. He's like, I remember he's done this a couple times, and he'll be like, oh yeah, British men. I wonder how they talk dirty to their wives. My love, could you suck my tallywhacker, please? And he's like, I'm like, dude, Brits is a continual spew of profanity. Like, and he's like, no, there's no way. Like they probably call it a tallywhacker, my love. Will you touch my tallywhacker, my love? Like this is him imitating a British man. And he has no clue. And I'm like, dude, you're in your 40s and you've lived abroad before. What do you? Yeah. Yeah, Cheltenham really isn't posh. There are plenty of chaps there. So, yeah, I've seen the race course many times because it's right by the high street. Yeah. So, all right. So it's a very, very, very different view. Um, you know. Whereas in Texas, it's more regional stuff through there. Like in the larger cities, you're not going to see tons of people in boots and a cowboy hat. Now you get into slightly more rural areas, you will, and in some upper class areas, you will. So some of the more aristocracy and upper class still have a lot of cowboy roots, say in Houston or Austin or whatever. So yeah, you might see millionaires literally wearing boots and a cowboy hat. But generally, most people in the cities are not. I mean, music, yes, but let's not dig too much further. By the idea of a cheat meal is that you're going to eat junk food anyways. Cutie pie, so it's not what's an okay. It's a cheat meal would be a cheat meal. Um, so you know, but again, just pointing out the different cultural views there of how it's perceived. Now, what you will find in Texas is some of the viewpoints are very, very common. Those are very cultural, some of the political viewpoints. And again, what's funny to me, political viewpoints I've talked about or whatever are not considered extreme where I live. Let me be clear on that. So that's why it's funny to me that certain people have perceived things a certain way. I'm like, many things that I have said that people thought were more extreme were more moderate views where I live. You know, so just an FYI. McDonald's. I mean, I guess McDonald's. Man, wasting a cheat meal on McDonald's though. I don't know. I'm gonna cheat. I'm gonna do pizza or a buffet. Like, you know, buffets are really the cheat meal of choice. Pizza Hut hasn't had a buffet in forever. Yeah, you already know what I'll say. Like, do the full English records is not that good, to be honest. Are people in the UK smarter? No, I would not say so. I mean, you could look up IQ tests around the world and determine the average intelligence, right? We have data from all over the world of the average IQs and things for countries. I mean, you know, fried bread. Keeping in mind, he's just talking about fried bread, right? Keep in mind my ethnicity. And my dad's family are fairly traditional. So, oh, wow, no one's even going to know what that means that I said that. Okay, so it's definitely a Czech thing, fried bread. All right, I guess I didn't specify that. So that's my bad, just assuming people know that, right? Of course you do. make collages. And this is for people from those sort of families. There's a, oh my God. All right. So let's talk about a cultural conflict where I live. Enormous Czech population. The second largest Czech population anywhere in the US would be Texas. Like we're an actual major ethnicity here. We're pretty big. In fact, there are whole Czech-owned companies that are famous in Texas that are all Czech recipes, Czech beer, Czech sausage. Do you have no, I don't, Cutie. What a weird question. So the kolach thing is kind of a point of contention. So in Texas, kolach places are extremely common, but they bastardize it and they pronounce it wrong. And the overwhelming majority of people call it a kolache, and it's just a kolach. And they put meat. It's basically, here they do them, but most of the places just treat it like a glorified pig in a blanket. Or I think the Brits call it a toad in a hole. I think that's your term for a pig in the blanket. All right. Whereas in some places will do correct traditional kolaches are generally fruit-based fillings. And they're open. They're open top. They're not a closed thing. But kolach shops are really, really common. But they call them kolaches, and it's just, yeah. So pig in a blanket. So I thought you guys called it toad in the hole. Okay, it's close enough, right? Pig in the blanket. So I guess it's the same thing here. So they'll do them with that. Although a lot of them will do it with Chapel Hill sausage specifically, which is a Czech recipe and Czech-owned company, like Czech family. Pig in the blanket is something else. Okay, so I guess they call it your pig in the blanket is the same thing here. But in Texas, they'll take a glorified pig in the blanket and they'll call it a kolache. See my face? I can't even say it because I grew up saying a kolach like my whole childhood, and my grandma literally won competitions at kolach festivals and things. Hey, music, I'm not going to talk about that. I'm not going to have these discussions of our marriage fights and discussions and arguments in public. I feel like that's inappropriately personal. Just a warning. All right. Bacon wrapped around a sausage, you have it at Christmas. Not that I eat sausage anymore, but I did notice a difference. British sausage is very, very different too from a lot of it, from what I think of. Because we have a lot of Czech and Polish recipes for sausage here in Texas, because again, heavy immigrant cultures. All right. Hey, cutie, why wouldn't it be okay to eat food at nighttime? Yeah. I'm just saying it's a different style. And you guys add like wheat and stuff inside of them. It's kind of weird. Right? Hey, cutie pie, I don't know where you heard that. I don't know. You sound like you're stuck in some old weird fitness myths. You need to get current. Or to a different state where a woman does not end well, let alone a different country. But music, no, I don't want to discuss with you the details of my second marriage. Again, we talk about let's not get into personal questions. Can you think of anything more personal than asking the fine details of someone's stuff about their Marriage, I'm not sure what's not computing for you on that one. Because you literally asked if it was okay. Is it okay to mention the city you live in? And you just asked me stuff about my marriage, my previous marriage. It's like, wow. I mean, think about which of these two topics would be way more personal. Oh. Come on, bro. Okay. What do you mean you literally asked a question about it? You literally asked me a question about it. So you totally asked. Go read your actual post. It's still on the screen. I'm not asking, he literally asked. Did you ever think about, that's definitely a question. All right. Warning. Be chill about it. I'm pretty chill in the mornings. Deeper thinking with Coach. What's going on, Max? How you doing? Doing good, man. Got a client site I got to go to in a bit. So killing time. Awesome, man. Cool. What sort of client site? What sort of business are you in? I fix internet for businesses. Okay. Well, he might be working for someone else and it's their client, or he might be a small business. You never know. Both types have clients. Cutie Pie, because he has a channel membership. Could you imagine life? I grew up without the internet. But no, these days I couldn't. No carbs after 5 p.m. That's the rule. Oh my God. Right. I'm in indie field tech. Okay. Cool. I don't think anyone can imagine life without the internet now. Hey, music, these are things you could just go Google, man. And no, I'm not going to tell you who my internet provider is. Music. How about we don't do that? Plus, I don't live in Houston. All right. But Cutie Pie, yeah, if you become an orc warrior, an orc warlord, or an orc war chief, you will get a star. The cheapest one is $3 a month. Life as we know it would not exist without the internet. Like people would not even know how to function because everyone uses it for everything. Right. I think for younger people, this is a bit much to grasp. So for context, when I was growing up, the only way to reach someone long distance was a telephone call. We didn't have text messages. We didn't have screens on phones. You had to call them. That's it. There was no email. There was no text messages. The telephone. I remember the old AOL chat rooms, but those didn't come out till I was a teenager, like I was in high school or later. No music. You don't remember that music. You literally made that up yourself right here on the spot. You have to call someone on the block, right? No music. That has never been a thing ever. You just completely made that up. Coach, how do I remove the fear of someone canceling a date? It happened to me once, and now I think it will always happen. Well, quit focusing on it. Don't be a bitch. That's it. That's what my family told you. So your family lied to you. You need to have a talk with your family about lying to you. And you'd have to talk to your parents before getting through to your friend. Yeah. And if you didn't have call waiting and someone was on the phone, or music, it could just be that they're stupid. Yeah. Yeah, if she cancels, that's a blessing. You don't waste any more time with a girl who's not interested. Problem solved, man. This sounds like a self-solving problem right here. I mean, we've all had a date canceled. We've all been stood up. It happens. It happens even to Coach, man. I've been stood up before. What do you mean it hurts? What are you talking about? It hurts. Like, were you involved with her? What do you mean it hurts? Is this a new girl you just met? Now, if it's someone you've developed an attachment with, I get it. You know, I don't know what the T app is. Get over it. Listen, don't dwell on exactly. Fun fact that dial-up sounds more Morse code, which is a fancy 101s, is an internet handshake. On to the next. It's someone who doesn't want to date but wants to be casual, but she has grown on you like a fungus. And then the fun fact dial-up. Do you guys remember the old AOL sound? Do you guys remember the old AOL sound? Hold on. The AOL dial-up sound. This is when you know you're an OG right here. Let's see, I have that many emails. I don't have that many emails. Okay, about 2B. Hold on. Why are they still mailing me? I don't do Dollar Shave Club. Stop. Hold on, I was going to pull up the AOL sound. I'm checking my emails real quick. My phone. Why are you sending me steroid raw material emails on that old account? I don't be brewing. Why are they sending me this? I do remember LimeWire actually. The old AOL. So hold on, let me pull up the old AOL dial-up sound. For those who are unaware, we had to hear this every time we dialed into the internet. Like Starscream. Sound like a robot screaming. All right, y'all ready? I'm gonna bring back some memories. Let's see if we can find one. Oh, that's not it. It took me to some stupid ad. I hate the app. That's why I don't ever use a YouTube app. Is this one? You guys ready? Remember back in the day, it's gonna bring back OGs. Every time. God, I know that sounds so well. Every time we went to the internet, we had to dial it up through the phone. Yep. OGs remember. True down memory lane. I don't know, because that's what they thought would be a good idea. They're like, this is our dial-up sound. No, that was a connection. That is what it sounded like when we called the AOL, because they were one of the biggest providers. So you had to use your landline, to use your modem to call the internet and get a connection. Yeah. Yeah. You feeling old now, guys? I'm about to turn 49. You're going to feel it with me. I'm sounding like a boomer. Back in my day, when we used to call the internet, it sounded like a robot screaming. We had to call it through the telephone line. We didn't have any of this fancy, schmancy satellite signals bouncing off of our phone, and we didn't even know. We used the phone line because we were too ignorant to know any better, and we liked it that way. We loved it. We were too ignorant to know any better. Right? I'm sounding like a boomer now. Yeah, your internet wire and phone wire would use a splitter. You couldn't use both at the same time, right? Yes, I did use MySpace. Windows 95. I remember Windows 95. Remember when we had free operating systems, we used to just burn copies and have those disks and numbers, man. I used to do them all the time. I had limitless installs of Windows XP Pro. Right? You'd have to drop $200 every time you built a new computer. We just modulared everything and just built and had all those free. I used to build them all the time. All right. You had, what do you mean, me? What is me? All right. Yeah, that was totally different. Those were the days. I played Neverwinter Nights on AOL. I was a D&D guy already, so it was kind of cool to me. It was built off the Polar Radiance platform. I had a maxed out clan, dual class. Oh, Lord. All right. Only a few handful of people are going to know that reference. Yeah, I remember MSN. Yeah. I had Yahoo Messenger. That was how girls used to always reach me, man. All the girls I knew at MS, my whole little circle of girls. All these girls I knew, they would all have it, and they would all add me on it. And everyone I knew used Yahoo Messenger. So even back in the day, I used to be getting booty calls on it. You know, before we had all the social media, it was Yahoo Messenger. And so everyone I knew, all the girls in my area and stuff, they all used it. So they just added you as friends. Yeah. Be chilling and just my Yahoo Messenger pop up. You know what you do, right? What are you doing? I'm like, I'm just chilling at home. I'm relaxing. Why? What are you doing? And they'd be like, can you come over? Right? Girls were more subtle about it back then. Be like, can you come over? I need some help with something. Like, yeah, I'll be right over. What's up? But there's a problem with my door. There's a problem with my sink. I have a couch that needs to be moved. Okay, I got you. Let me take a quick shower. I remember CD players. All right, this is coming my age, man. Dude, we used to wear CD. We'd hook a CD player up to our lifting belt. She got a problem, you know. I never did. I used to hook a CD player up to my lifting belt, the actual cord, and put it in. Till we got those little smaller digital ones. And then you could hook it to your arm or whatever. Yeah. What was Coach listening to back then? What did I listen to on CDs when training? It was all really hard stuff, dude. Slayer, Pantera, right? Did you own it? I did it later on. Who else? I had some Slipknot. I had other stuff. Oh, what was one band I used to listen to? Yeah, definitely was Slipknot. Slipknot was in one of my CDs for working out. Hold on. This was my deadlift song back in the day. I'd always put this on when I would deadlift. We're talking way over 20 years ago. This was my deadlift song. I always played it when I deadlifted. I don't know why. Right. Right. No, I don't know that one on the guitar. That was my deadlift song. Yeah, the song is called Strength Beyond Strength. All right. No, I used to rock out hard when I used to train. Yeah, I watched old school on TV too. Yep. My favorite genre would be more like hard rock. Not that. That's metal. I'm more hard rock these days. I listen to my dad's music. Oh Lord. Yeah, pretty much. Ironically, my dad's music has become my favorite music as an adult. Like literally ZZ Top, AC/DC. My dad was a huge ZZ Top fan. Yes, I'm a Christian. Yeah, I remember Beavis and Butthead. Yeah, I used to watch Beavis and Butthead. Beavis and Butthead. Because that was from the movie. We had a Beavis and Butthead movie. Yeah. Yeah, ironically, my dad's music became the music I enjoy more. That's just very strange to me, but it just is what it is. Because that's the stuff my dad listens to. Everything. ZZ Top, Leonard Skinner, AC/DC. That was my dad's music. And it's my music now. Oh. No, when I was younger, I was definitely a metalhead. I came up on, Slayer, Megadeth, the old school Metallica when they were harder, so on and so forth. That's what I and my bros all listened to. Sepultura, Cannibal Corpse, right? No, I thought the Beatles were always overrated. Napalm Death, right? That's what we came up on. So it's kind of funny. Like I hear people that go back and listen to some of the music from that genre, and they're like, "Wow, y'all's music was hard." Like metalheads today, sometimes like y'all's music is harder than ours. Like our metal is not. We listen to a lot of like they would call it deathcore now, and a lot of thrash and speed metal. I did like some punk. Yeah, I liked punk for a little while till I discovered metal. You know, I have no Cradle of Filth. Cthulhu Dawn's a good song. I do like Led Zeppelin some. I'm not a big. I don't listen to a lot of them though. I can play parts. I haven't messed with Stairway to Heaven in a while. There's an unwritten rule. Max, Nate will tell you this. You don't play Stairway to Heaven in guitar shops. Yeah. It's a thing. I think everyone early on, they learned the intro to Stairway to Heaven is just like a rite of passage. It's literally a rite of passage for new guitarists. Hence, accordingly, there have been jokes in some guitar shops that they put a sign banning Stairway to Heaven. I hope all's well with Ian. Ian was very smug, actually, very much. Yeah. Never knew that. We actually had small super chats in yesterday's coffee chat. I haven't been getting them in here lately. I've gotten $30 in a morning chat though a lot before sun up. Those are rare. Supers tend to come in the afternoons. Speaking of which, the sun is up. I might wind this down. One of the first songs. Listen, Iron Maiden. I think the first thing anyone tried to teach me, I was like 13, 12. It was like the little intro notes to Stranger in a Strange Land. Right. I watched a video today on YouTube where this guy said Tren is the most potent but also the most dangerous steroid. No, that's not true. At one time, that would have been a true statement as far as really commonly used ones. At one time, that would have been true among the more popular common ones. It was never an absolute truth. Definitely not today. I might try to get it running, yeah. All right, I think I'm going to wind this one down though. So love you guys, and we are out.